Okay, you guys, so while I did have slightly less items that sold for $40 or more in December, my December was pretty good and my numbers overall are better than the previous month of November. So let's roll that intro and talk about what sold for $40 or more in the month of December. Hey guys, it's me, Kay, and you've arrived in my weird little corner of the internet. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm a part-time reseller, mostly on eBay and Poshmark, though I do sell locally at an antique booth as well as on Mercari and Depop, but my sales there are really infrequent. I do this so that my daughter and I can travel the world whenever we have the opportunity to, but without further ado, let's get into what sold for $40 or more on Poshmark and eBay in the month of December. So obviously this is the last month of 2022 that I will be doing this. Going forward in January and the rest of 2023, if there is a different value that you would like to see, if you'd like to see me talk about some lower dollar sales, sales where I make little to no money, sometimes I even take a loss on things, just let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to, you know, put out there what you guys actually want to see. But like I said in the intro, I did have slightly less sales that were $40 or more this month. Just two though. I had two less than I did in November, which is totally fine. So I had 24 total between Poshmark and eBay, 12 on both, which just works out really nicely. And in November, I had 14 on Poshmark, so I just saw two less sales, $40 or more, from December and November. So let's get started. We're going to talk about Poshmark first. I'll talk about everything that sold within that price range on Poshmark. I'll go over the Poshmark numbers. You guys will be seeing images on the screen as well as I'm talking about them. Then I'll do eBay, do the breakdown for eBay, and then we will talk a bit at the end with the difference between December and November overall. Anyway, let's get started. So these are in no particular order, just however I happened to write them down on my little handy dandy notebook. The first one is a Loro Piana flax linen shirt. So I learned from Bob Buys that flax is a type of linen. This was like a collared button front shirt. Loro Piana is a great brand to pick up. This was Loro Piana branded, though if you find blazers, sometimes sweaters, they can also have Loro Piana fabric, but be for a different brand. So keep an eye out for that name on other items. I paid $6.23 for this. I listed it at $85 and took a $60 offer from a buyer. Really happy with that sale. Next is a full price sale. So this was a pair of Born Monica leather booties. These did take 12 months to sell, but again, full price sale of $45 and I paid $5.49. Next is a handbag, and I don't often sell handbags. It's really just not a section that I often really look at if I'm passing by them in the shoes, because a lot of my Savers locations have them at the very end of the shoe aisles, and I happen to see something that catches my eye, I will look, but I don't, you know, make it a point to go there and look through things. But this was a Rebecca Minkoff black pebble leather Regan bag. This sold for $45. I think this might have also been a full price sale. I didn't record that because I wasn't sure. And it was like the beginning of December, I think, when this sold. So I didn't take a screenshot, which sometimes I do on Poshmark if I'm taking an offer on something. Just so when I go and do these videos, I can tell you how much I listed it for. But it was either listed at $50 and this was, you know, an automatic 10% off offer, or it was listed at $45 and sold for $45. Either way, I paid $6.39 for this bag. Next we have activewear. I love selling activewear. It's my favorite category to source, my favorite category to sell. And between December and this month, January 2023, I have sold a lot of activewear. So you will probably see quite a few pieces of activewear in this video and also in next month's video, which is the month we're currently in. But anyway, this is a Lululemon scuba hoodie. This was the Scuba Hoodie 3. There are tons of scuba hoodie versions, tons of different colorways. This was Heathered Plum. I listed this at $60. Someone sent an offer of $40. I did pay up for this. I paid $12.99, so not the best flip. But it was really fast, and I always love a fast flip. Next is a pair of jeans from the brand NSF. This is not a super well-known brand, but the retail value is really high. It does tend to sit for quite a long time for me. I do have an NSF and SoulCycle hoodie that I have had for about a year or so, and I probably have priced it too high. But these jeans, they're the Easy Straight bleach jeans, sold for $60. And I listed them at $85. And that's not even close to retail, so definitely keep an eye out for this brand. I also found it one time at the bins. That was the first time I'd ever found it. And after I found it there, I put it in my Google pile when I was at the bins and looked it up, and I was really surprised by the comps. But I paid $7.59 for these jeans. Next we have a ThredUp item. So these came in a ThredUp fun box from pretty recently, towards the end of 2022. These were the Sorel Roaming Buckle Slide Sandals. This was a full price sale for $55. They did have a flaw, so the previous person who owned them before sending them into ThredUp, they had put like some, it looked like sticky Band-Aid, like the fabric type of Band-Aid on the underside of the two straps. And so when I took that off, it left a lot of sticky residue, and I wasn't quite sure how to get it off. Like, I have Goo Gone, but I didn't know if I could use that on leather, so I just left it and notated it in the description. They still sold full price $55, and I paid $3.42 for those from that ThredUp box. Next we have another pair of jeans. These were a pair of Levi's 501s. I am very particular with the styles of Levi's I will pick up. I pick up the 501s, the wedgie, and the rib cage. I pretty much skip on everything else. Once in a while, if I find a mile high, I will pick those up, but they do not do as well for me as the other ones. These were the wedgie straight crop in a 501, and they sold full price again, $60, and I paid $8.69. Another pair of Sorel boots, though these did not come from a ThredUp box. I sourced these myself. These were the leather slim boot combat boots. They were an 8.5, I believe, and I originally tried them on hoping that I would fit in them, but they were a little bit too small, so I ended up listing them. Listed at $60, someone sent an offer of $48. I paid $9.19. Happy to move them. This was another really fast flip. All right, as per usual, my battery died, so if the angle changed, I'm sorry. Next, I have an item that sold in a bundle with another thing. The other item was a piece of Athleta. I think they were a pair of pants, and the total bundle was listed together, the two items, $150. I sent an offer of $100. The way that I broke it down was that the piece that I'm gonna share with you, I sold for $70, and the Athleta pants sold for $30. That equals the $100. So the one that was over $40 was a rag and boned Holland alpaca sweater. Beautiful sweater. Beautiful fabric. It had like an ombre gradient style pattern. It did take a year to sell. I paid $7.99, but $7.99 into $70. Totally fine with that. This was something that I had thought about sending into the Real, but because I don't sell there anymore, I ended up having to list it myself. So yeah, $70. Next is a pair of pants from Anthropologie. They were new tags from by Anthropologie. They were a newer style, a linen wide leg pant. They took 2 months to sell. I listed them at $90. I did go kind of high with these because they were new tags, and I figured maybe for like a Christmas present, something like that. I got an offer of $50, which isn't really the best offer because, you know, 50 from 90, that's almost 50% off, but I still accepted it anyway, and I paid $10.39 for these pants. Next, we have another bag sale, which is great because, like I said earlier, I don't really source bags, so I don't have too many of them, and they do take up quite a lot of space. So I'm always happy when I find them and then they sell. This is a Dooney & Bourke white AWL all-weather leather bag. I listed it at $75. It did sit for 18 months. This brand I do not have the best history with, and I often will just pass by it in the stores, even if I come across like a really nice condition one, just because I know that it tends to sit for me. So when someone sent a $45 offer, I was really happy to accept that just to move it out, and I paid $10.49 for this bag. Next, we have another Lululemon scuba hoodie. So this was the scuba hoodie light cotton fleece. This one sold for $50 versus the previous one that sold for $40. I paid even more for this one, so it's good that it sold for $10 more, especially considering Poshmark's 20% fee. I paid $16.99 for this scuba hoodie. Okay, so that's everything that I sold on the Poshmark platform for $40 or more, but let's get into some numbers for the month. In total on Poshmark, I sold 46 items. Obviously, this includes the 12 I just shared with you, as well as anything else that I sold in the month of December. My total sales was $1,439. Total cost of goods was $254.42. My average sale price, ASP, is $31.28. And then my total profit for just Poshmark was $871.27. That is what I consider a decent month for me on Poshmark, because I don't often get even close to the $1,000 profit mark. On eBay, I try to stay at $1,000 and more per month, but on Poshmark, it's usually nowhere near close. Okay, so let's move over into eBay. So again, like I said earlier, I also had 12 sales, $40 and up on this platform. And let's get started. The first one I'm going to share with you is a Patagonia Torrent Shell 3L rain jacket. I want to say this took about 2 months to sell. I sourced it towards the end of 2022. I listed it at $100 and sent out an offer to watchers for $90, which someone accepted, and I paid $11.19. Next is a full price sale, and it's one of my favorite brands to find. It's American Giant. They have a lot of basics, like there's no real patterns, it's solid colors, a lot of heavyweight hoodies, pants, all the basic stuff that you could ever want. And the retail price isn't super crazy high, but for some reason the resale value is really good, so I continued to pick it up. Anyway, this was a pair of black Ponte knit no BS kick flare pants. That's what they're called. I'm pretty sure I just found another pair of the same pants at the thrift store this past week. So you will be seeing that fairly soon. And these sold for $48, again, full price, and I paid $5.94. My thrifts don't really seem to know what the heck American Giant is, and I will continue to ride that wave for as long as possible and hope that they never figure it out. Next is a new tags item, so probably sold for a Christmas gift. At least that's my assumption. This was a Sundance floral tiered maxi dress. This sat in my death pile for forever because I do not have enough wall space or even floor space to take photos of maxi dresses. So I left it for a while, and then I just decided I was gonna get it listed because it was new in tags, and so I went and used my laundry room door, stepped as far away from it as I could, and took photos. They're not the best photos I ever took, but it still sold. I listed it at $70 and took an offer from a buyer for $45. I paid $10.79. Next, we have another pair of Levi's 501s. These were not 501 wedgies though. These were just 501 white tapered jeans. This was another full price sale. So the other pair of 501s that sold on Poshmark sold for $60. These also sold full price for $60, and I paid $5.03. Next, we have a vintage piece, and this took a while to sell, over a year. It was from a brand called Dosa. It's the one and only time I've ever found it. I don't know if I would pick it up again just because of how long it sat, but for the price that it sold for, I just might. It was a wool blend pinstripe blouse. It's a very like Lagan look type of brand. I listed it at $125 and it sold on an offer for $99. I'm pretty sure that was an offer to watchers that I had sent out, and I paid $7.45 for it. So I will definitely keep a lookout for this brand in the future, but I might or might not pick it up. It's probably dependent on style and size, to be honest. Next is a piece that I shared recently, semi-recently, and it's from a brand I had never heard of before. Hello to Clove, she's being crazy kitten. This is Good Run Shoden. It's a European brand. Never found it before, haven't found it since, but the comps look pretty good. It was organic cotton. It had like a chevron pattern on it. And this I listed at $50 and sent an offer to watchers for $40. And I paid $7.49. And that was a pretty fast flip within like 4 to 6 weeks. Next is a pair of shoes, and I love to source this brand. I just picked up 2 in the last few weeks. This is Hoka One One. It's the Challenger ATR 5 sneakers. I'm pretty sure these were purple if I remember correctly, and they were a woman's. I listed these at $60 and took an offer from a buyer for $45. I paid $8.39. I hardly ever hold on to Hokas. They get so much interest immediately as soon as I list them, and yeah, they usually do not last. Next is another Lululemon piece. This I originally was gonna consider keeping for myself, but I ended up listing it. It's called the Find Your Unwind Pullover. It did take 11 months to sell, but it sold full price for $60. I paid $4.79 because the thrift store did not see the little Lululemon logo, so their loss, my gain. Next we have the last My Little Pony sale. Hopefully I can find some more because we sourced these. My daughter found these. If you are new to my channel and haven't seen any of those videos, she found a few bags of vintage 80s My Little Pony figures on the wall of bags in the toy section, and she was like, hey mom, look at these, and I ended up picking them up. They've all officially sold. We made like $400 on them, which I split half of the profit with my daughter because she found them. That's our agreement that we have. But this is the last one to sell. And the same buyer actually bought this pony as well as a lot of, I think 4 or 5 baby ones. Those did not hit the $40 threshold, but they sold to the same person. This one was from 1985. It's a G1 My Little Pony. It's called Buttons, and it is a twice as fancy pony. I listed this one at $100. She sent me an offer of $70, and because she had already purchased the lot of 4, she did it in 2 separate transactions. I was happy to sell to the same person, and I just shipped them all together. So $70 for that one, and I paid $1.22 per pony. And yeah, they're all gone. So hopefully we can find more of them in 2023. Next is a really fast flip. This was from Aran Crafts. So Aran Islands are islands off the coast of Ireland. Me and Liv have gone there before in the past. I think 2017 we went there. But a lot of their sweaters from that area of the world do really well. I don't find them often, but when I do, I almost always pick them up. This was a men's piece. I think this is the first time I've ever sold a men's item from this brand. A lot of fisherman cable knit styles, which this was. It was a white color. I listed it at $60. Someone sent me an offer of $50 and I paid $7.19, and I want to say that flipped in less than a week. Next is one of my favorite brands to find, and at the end of 2022 I found quite a few pieces within the span of a few months, and almost all of them have sold. I think I just have one left. This was Johnny Was. It was a blue floral tunic called the Talem tunic. It was made of cupra, so it was really soft and almost like a silky feel, heavily embroidered as all Johnny Was is, or Johnny Was, Johnny Was is, I don't know. Anyway, I listed this at $80 and took a $65 offer. I paid $3.19 because again, my thrift store does not know what it is. Every time I've found it, it has been less than $5, and I always use a 20% because I've only ever found it at a Savers where I donate a lot of stuff, so I always have a 20% off coupon. So yeah, $3.19 into $65, and that was also another really fast flip. And the last item for eBay, and the last item overall that I'm going to share with you, is from Ibex. This is a really good brand to look out for. They do a lot of wool, kind of similar to a Smart Wool type of brand. This was merino wool. It was a cycling jersey sweater. That's how I labeled it. It was a hideous color. When I shared this with you guys, it was a really fast flip as well, within a week or so. And it was like baby poop green. I put chartreuse in the listing, I'm pretty sure, or in the description, because I didn't want to say baby poop green, but that's the color that it was. This is a full price sale. It sold for $48. It did have a small hole towards the bottom on the back of the item, so I just disclosed that. I probably could have got closer to the $60 mark if it didn't have a hole, but I will pick up that brand even if it has holes. It still sells, and I paid $6.64. So let's go over some numbers for the eBay platform specifically. In total, I sold 62 items. Again, like Poshmark, this includes the 12 that I just shared with you, as well as everything else I sold. My total sales was $2,247.61. This does include the shipping costs of the buyers paid. Going forward from 2023 on, I will no longer include the shipping price, but this is just how I recorded my numbers in 2022, and I have since changed. My ASP was $36.25. I'm really happy with that. My total cost of goods for the items that I sold on eBay was $280.80, making my total profit after the eBay fees and the shipping and all of that $1,245.72. Not my best month overall on eBay for 2022, but I'm still happy with that. I like to be $1,000 profit or more for just eBay alone. Okay, so before I leave you guys, let's do the comparison between November and December of 2022. So in November, my total sales was $3,524.67 versus December, which was $3,686.61. So, you know, a little over $100 more in total sales between just eBay and Poshmark. This doesn't include any of my other platforms, Booth, Mercari, Depop, none of that, just eBay and Posh. My ASP in November was $34.22. It went down just slightly in December to $34.13. Still happy with that. I do a lot of bread and butter sales, $20 and under, so to have an ASP in the $30 range, totally fine for me. In November, I sold 103 items, and I sold just 5 more in December for 108 items total between eBay and Poshmark. And my total profit for the month of November was $2,066.97 versus December, which was $2,166.99. So $100.02 difference. But yeah, $2,000 in profit for a side hustle for me is wonderful. By all means, I would love to increase that, because that means that I have to rely less on my full-time income, if that makes sense. And I don't know, eventually I would like to leave my job. I've been there 17 years, almost 18, and I hate it. So yeah, if that could happen at some point, I would love to do that. But for me right now, running it as a one-woman show, I don't really work on the weekends, and so this is just very, very part-time for me. It's mostly like on my lunch break from my other job, or on my regular 15-minute breaks, or in the afternoons if Liv's working on homework. But yeah, I don't work on the weekends. That's my me time, that's my family time. Sometimes if Liv is with her dad that weekend, I will work on my business, because I am usually bored here without her. So I use that time to work on that stuff, but otherwise it's strictly during the week hours. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always. Again, if you want to see a different price point, or if you want me to include more sales that are maybe lower dollar, if you want me to separate between Posh and eBay, I am happy to do that. I don't share sales that are $40 or more from Mercari or Depop, because I haven't made any. So if that ever happens, I will certainly add that into this video if I keep the $40 threshold. But that's why you guys don't see them, because Posh and eBay, those are my main 2 platforms. And I probably made like a couple $100 on Mercari, and I don't even think I broke $100 on Depop, but that review is coming. So next week I will have my 2022 goal review video, and then I also have, I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after, but my total breakdown of my reselling business for 2022. So I'll have numbers for you for every single platform I sold on, including my booth, all of that good stuff. That will be in one video. It'll either be next week or the week after. I am still working on getting all of the numbers for you. But again, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it at any point, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube to know what type of content you enjoy seeing from me. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here in my weird little family on the internet, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.